instance, I might find it very hard to receive any money, but if you threaten to chop off my little finger, I might find it hard.
I think so. You might want to save your finger.
I might, or if you abducted, you know what they do, what we read in the novels. If they abducted my child, people have known to do incredible things to save their loved ones.
Right.
So I don't think we should just have blanket statements like that. It depends on the issue of the day and what is at stake. Now, Sabalwanyi, as he called himself,
that's another name. He had another name before, Sabagabe.
Now he's Sabalwanyi.
Go on.
Sabalwanyi, it depends. I think you'd evaluate each circumstance depending on the price of and what you're prepared to pay for that price, or what you're not prepared to pay for that particular circumstance. And if Sabalwanyi, like I was saying, Sabalwanyi, his ultimate goal is to transform, what do they say, all those fancy words that we've been hearing all these years. I don't know what price he would pay for for that vision.
Honorable Biraro.
Yeah, sincerely speaking, I don't see why and for what reason the president would take a bribe for what. Because oil is here, and these are people who are coming to invest in the oil industry. Now, what would one be bribing him to do and for him to benefit? Because I think his biggest benefit would be if the oil is extracted, the country is wealthier, like our president has got anticipation that when oil is here, everything that we have had to do will be done.
The vision is fulfilled.
The vision is fulfilled sincerely. So I don't see the reason and the logic as to how you'd be taking a bribe. And like he said, this other word now that we are quoting and famous that the one who gave him the money must have been an idiot because he paid the money. I don't get anything. This Taro, is it this heritage, Total are getting into business, and the one who comes give money
got zero.
That is proof
that there was no money exchanging hands.
That there was no money exchanging hands, and then the man now could be kicks of a dying horse, because again we are told these are wars of the problems of who lost.
Which horse of a dying horse? Which horse is dying? Right?
This is the one that is claiming that they gave money here and there. So that's why we are saying let's give it time. Investigations will be carried out in these countries, Dubai, where they think they paid the money, they were the money through. Then because I think investigations through the bank should be simpler. It's a question of going to the bank, someone who's credibility, ask for them to authenticate the banking slips, the banking advices that we saw. We saw them. So these things should be very simple.
But the president said those documents are ready for you, so why you waste your time?
Well, as I said earlier on,
but if I were the president, have to be in terms of money and bank slips and things. I think you're trivializing. I'm not saying that he took the money, but I'm looking at the word, at the concept of corruption in a broader, concept. If you come down to any, I might say that it's not likely that the president got money because you really can take money from someone you want to give a contract. But the broader concept of corruption, I think, is beyond bank slips and
Mirima, you people in Bunyoro are very quiet about this debate. The oil is in your place, and you're very quiet. You're happy with everything.
We aren't quiet. We have been talking very, very loudly too.
Even as for reparations, you got them and you never got them. They came, but you never saw a penny.
Well, President Museveni is still keeping the reparations, which we shall get later on. But I want to go back to what Biraro has been saying, that the president he cannot be bribed and so on. But you know, oil is I want to use the word curse.
Not always.
Where it has been found, it has been a curse.
What I'm saying is not that you cannot be bribed. But in this instance, to be bribed for what?
For wealth. For what else?
Because these are people who are coming.
The more money you have, the more you want. So you cannot tell him that is beyond bribery. But the important thing is, we've got the national oil and gas policy, which advocates transparency, accountability, and so on. Is it being followed?
It's not being implemented.
You people in the parliament, as at the beginning of this debate, I asked you, are you aware how these laws are made? Because you have said parliament that the new contracts should not be entered into until the laws are made. But are you aware? The other day there was a workshop at Red Hotel in Seta, where members of parliament were called to be trained on how to understand the petroleum bill. I was there, and the members of parliament were raw. They knew exactly nothing. But now you are not even in the parliament. Few people there right now, although you have made me go beyond this subject, few people there are exactly aware how the laws are made. They are made by the technocrats, and the President Museveni has been consulting these technocrats. In fact, he thinks whatever the technocrats have done is correct. And when he said that he's being bribed, okay, there's the possibility of being bribed, but he
denied it.
But whatever is appearing now in the PSS, in what income tax laws, everything has come from the technocrats. Yesterday, Kalis tried to explain, but he didn't do it. But have you streamlined? Because you have set not a deadline, but a condition that no contract must be made until the rules have been finalized. Are you aware what it takes to make these laws? Are you aware that technocrats can take because they are civil servants? Are you going to push them? Me, I'm talking as a nationalist now. As a nationalist now, they just streamline the system, because as of now,
how do we do that?
Let's either make the technocrats work together with the parliament, with the parliamentary committees, so that there is
Let me give you some information there. Parliament, you said at the Red Hotel in Mukona, was not there. The second committee was there. Now that tells you that our parliament is highly sensitive. When they realized that they were slightly ignorant of what was taking place, that is now the result of the demand. Result into the demand for whatever is being done until we understand. Number two, we have identified so far 112 countries which are oil producing and in production. Now we are saying that our committee on natural resources should visit some of these countries to get lessons when we are drafting these laws. So that now we have got a reference point. Now what we are saying, one thing is, if you are a good person and want to develop, you must accept that you are ignorant about some things. And when you accept that you are ignorant about some things, you go out to find out what you don't know. And this is what our parliament is doing. Now, most important, Mr. Mirima, is our parliament wants to learn, and in the process of learning during the transition, we want to support everything so that we don't make errors where or crash where we are not very sure. That's what the parliament is doing, and that's why we're demanding parliament must first study the oil deals here and abroad.
Well, maybe you also want to go to Botswana. They don't have oil, but they have diamonds, and they use them very, very well. It's probably one example of a resource blessing. This is Spectrum on Radio 1. Tonight is President Museveni on a collision course with Parliament over the oil and gas sector. You can call in now. Our numbers 0414 348 111 0312 260 390 0312 261 390. When you call in, please move away from your radio and tell us your name and where you are calling from. Spectrum, hello.
Good evening, Spectrum.
Good evening, sir. Your name?
Dr. Kim Tokambal is my name. I salute you this evening. First of all, I wish to thank the guests in the studio for their wonderful articulation. Professor Mirima, I respect you. I will always respect your views. Keep it up. However, dear brothers listening in the studio and those listening to us, countries with oil, okay, I agree with you that some countries with oil, they're enjoying it. But I want to assure you that there are so many countries with oil which are suffering as a result of having their oil. Now you please, let's go slow. I'm afraid that we have oil, the price is too high. Now, I think at least let us maintain this situation where we are. But I'm afraid that if we continue exploring this oil, don't you think we are likely to get more wars, more problems? We are going to be hit by this when people want to see our oil. At least let us go like this until the 5 years are over. We shall get our oil, but that's not a rush, because there are matters others are enjoying. There are those which are suffering too much because of the oil.
Spectrum, hello.
Hello?
Your name, sir? Can you switch off your radio?
Hello?
Hello?
Good evening.
Good evening. Your name, sir?
Kajura is my name. And thank you for the program. The debate about oil has caused a lot of anxiety. And I think the problem is not the government or the parliament per se, but it is the way how the communication has been done. There has been no proper communication to tell the people of what is happening. And as a result, so many things have come up with or without truth, with or without knowledge backing up certain allegations and how certain things are supposed to be done. And now, because of ignorance, in a way how certain things are supposed to be done concerning structuring of the agreements, that is in terms of sharing, some clauses which are supposed to be confidential, things like commercial covenants, like any other agreement, which the public by now should be knowing that such and such things are not supposed to be publicized, they are confidential. Now, because people don't know, they take everything to be as if government is hiding away certain things which are not of the interest, interest to the public, and which is not the case. So, I would request that government comes up with a proper communication network, communication channel, of which the public should be informed of what is happening. Otherwise, a lot of anxiety is going to cause a lot of problems, even down in the fields. People may start thinking of so many things.
Okay. Spectrum, hello.
Yes, Kizito.
Good evening.
Good evening. This is James from Mutungo.
James, yes.
Thank you for the show. My only opinion is the MPs, even when they want to fight corruption,
yes,
they should do it respectfully. You need to respect other people. They might have done wrong. Don't shoot people from the hip. Whoever, an allegation come and then you just completely tear their reputation and you have not investigated.
Okay.
It is wrong, it is wrong, it is wrong.
All right. Thank you, James.
Hello.
Hello, your name?
I'm called Stephen.
Yes, Stephen.
And I'm calling you from Nalia. And I want first of all to thank the guest that you brought, but somehow Harrison Ford Mirima is a person that I always know that is a man who understands issues to do with how oil should actually be taking place, because he's even the spokesperson. How does he want oil to be produced without the governing frameworks in place?
Spectrum, hello.
Hello?
Yes, your name?
This is Stephen Asimwe. I thank you and the panelists. But I wanted to ask Mirima, in this situation where we support Parliament to investigate and do all its work, and also probably look at issues of corruption, but can Mirima trust anybody looking at where Bunyoro passed with the Britons and probably the current neo-colonialists who are using some people whom some people call ambassadors when they are agents actually of CIA and other things. So if you see a cat in a game where there is a rat, don't you doubt that cat? So with real respect to some people who are called diplomats, don't you think they may also be saying, why did these people give this share to this group and for us we have not got in the struggle of the imperialism and neo-colonialism?
Spectrum, hello? Hello? Okay, let's get back to the studio. Henry.
Yes, please.
You have the questions?
Yes, there's one who talked about the lack of communication. If it's not there, it can't work. Now, there is this national oil and gas policy.
Yes.
It talks about information, communication, and so on. It's a question of adhering to this.
Implementing it.
Yes,
it's an excellent document developed with the help of Norway.
Yes, exactly. So it's a question of adhering to it. The question is the government prepared to adhere to it? Me, I wrote a book and I mentioned that if there's no transparency, if there's no accountability, then the recipe for oil to be a curse has been made. So the gentleman who said lack of communication is going to cause problems, he's right. The government must adhere to these policies they have made. But the national oil and gas policy is not a law, but it's a regulation which they must follow.
It's a framework to follow.
Exactly. Then there's another one who says that am I not doubting the people whom I think I'm advocating to carry out the oil exploration? But what can you do? We've got to have experts to do it. As of now, our technicians, technocrats, are still raw university students who have no experience yet. So we've got to depend on these people. Therefore, it's a question of having faith in them and allowing them to do the job. Like now, we've got people with degrees in oil drilling, in oil negotiations, in oil management and so on.
Oil accounting and so on.
Exactly. But can we put this confidence in these people? Our young
they probably don't take exposed. They've never done it.
So we must trust others
the technocrats
to do it for us.
Right.
Yeah. And President Museveni has not explained himself very well, because from the beginning, from 1986, when the oil exploration began seriously, he has been trusting the technocrats. And up to now, he has been doing it. But people are thinking that by trusting them, maybe he's taken advantage of it. But the thing is, he has got to trust them. He has got to use them. So we must have these technocrats who are experts in negotiations and so on. Because as of now, ours are still lacking experience.
Right. Honorable.
I just want to respond to the first question. I didn't get the name of the...
Mutokambali.
Mutokambali?
Yes, Doctor.
Who said that are we not going to have wars, etc., because of the oil? And my view is that it's always predicted the oil curse. Everybody talks about the oil curse, but Uganda should have learned from the best and the worst, so that we design, so that we are ready to manage our oil in a manner that is better than those who have not done so well, because we can learn from those that we have done well. We should have used this period to learn from the best and to avoid the worst, because it's all there. So if we haven't really used this period to prepare ourselves, then it's a big shame. It's unfortunate, because I expect, for instance, when we were drafting the Constitution of Uganda,
yes,
it was really, in most respects, a good document.
Yes.
Because
some people think it's an excellent document.
No, it's not an excellent.
Some people
document.
think it's a very good constitution to have.
No, I don't think it's an excellent document. There are many things I would change in this constitution. But it's a fairly good document. But because we got good things from
other places.
Right. And as we prepare ourselves for this oil whatever it is called, phenomenon, it's a phenomenon.
Right.
For this oil phenomenon, these are things, and there should have been sensitization, and public debates, and public awareness of the good and the bad from the different places, and what we have put in place. And I think it's not too late to start. I think the ministry that is concerned, whether it's economic monitoring, whether it's the oil sector or whatever, the oil sector should actually start this problem of sensitizing the public about the bad things that have happened elsewhere and the good things. I don't know what happened. In countries like Libya, where there were absolute dictatorships, they were bombed out of, but I don't know whether it was really a curse in those places, and if it was not, what were the good things that were done. I think it's not too late to start this debate.
From Honorable Bettie.
Thank you very much. I ask those people who have responded and made comments. Number one, the fact that people have been told and we have heard that oil may be a curse. I want to tell you one thing, that are warned is are armed. The fact that we have been warned as Ugandans, we should be careful. If you are not careful, then that means we have a problem. Because we are warned that oil may be a curse, and we should now stand against that to keep the curse at bay. Number two, Mr. Kajora is talking about speculation and the rest of it. That's what Parliament is talking about. We are saying if people don't know something, even when it is so small, if you don't declare that you don't have money and people know what is in your pocket, they may think, and even stronger you, that you are pocketing millions when you actually have like 1,000 shillings in your pocket. So actually, that's what you're talking about. And even the Parliament is now saying we need to know the limits of the confidentiality. And the world should know that this one is a no-touch zone. It is so confidential because it is of FBCD. That's why now we've requested for an intensive seminar and workshop for all the MPs without parties. Now another one is about this one which James was talking about, which I respect very much. James talked about when you are fighting corruption, be to respect for it. This is my appeal to Parliament. Because the time it embarrasses me at my age when I'm in Parliament, then a person of my age stands up and then points at Honorable General Moses Ali with an incredulous finger. I feel at times ashamed. Even when you're fighting corruption, you need to use kind words. Because what is the difference between you, the thief, you call a thief, and you, an arrogant person? So we need to have some respect when we are fighting even corruption, and that's when we shall succeed. So that now even what comes out of our fight is respected by honorable people. Right. We should have ethics even when fighting corruption, because abusive words, serious attacks, and unwarranted, it is also corruption, because corruption is use of improper influence. Enjoying parliamentary immunity shouldn't mean that we should abuse people, we should do this and that and that. Corruption is use of improper influence.
And Mr. Mirima.
Yes, Edmond. And Honorable Biraro, you've talked of oil not wanting to be a curse. And a caller said it's going to be a curse. Me, I'm saying oil is a good thing, something, a blessing from God. Why should it be a curse in Uganda, in Gabon, in Nigeria, and it's not a curse in Norway? It's not a curse in Denmark. It's not a curse in those countries. But it's because of our people, the way our people treat the product. Now, the laws have been made. Why don't we follow them? For example, today, why are we still debating what royalties to give who? It should be automatic. And I can tell you, it's going to be a curse. Ms. Honorable Biraro, you are a member of parliament, you are going to debate these laws eventually, but if you don't pay attention, for example, the refinery is going to need pipelines to connect it with the wells. Now, if the people of Bunyoro, the youths, see pipelines going through their plantations, and there is no good road in the area, the people, the children are going naked almost. There are no schools. Do you have to have somebody to tell them to punch those pipelines and break them? They will be automatic. So what I'm saying, it will be a curse if we want it to be a curse. If we follow the laws, the transparency, the accountability, and the laws of justice. Now, for us, we are calling it a birthright. And somebody is saying it's a national wealth. Yes, it's a national wealth. But if I'm in my chivanja, then in my plot, and some mushrooms grow in my plot, don't I, as the owner of the chivanja, take the share first,
primary ownership,
and I let Edmond to take the some of it. That's what we are saying. Right. Let Bunyoro be given their share.
Maybe what yes, let Bunyoro be given their share.
Yes.
How much?
This is an international yardstick which you should follow.
Yes.
It is there.
What percentage?
No, I'm not going to say it, but it is there. Whether it is 1 or 2%, but the principle must be recognized.
Right.
That birthright share.
Bunyoro should get it all.
Yes, exactly.
I agree with that. Yeah. Yes, all I'm saying that Bunyoro does not need to ask. Bunyoro should put in place strategies of enforcing, and it is doable.
All right.
But we've got roadblocks on the way. We've tried that.
I think, members, we should be optimistic that this thing, because one, your parliament has shown that it is interested and it is listening up to now. But the leading principle should be corporate social responsibility. Even these oil wells, you remember, even in the Niger Delta, that's what caused the problems when Ken Saruwe was murdered. The community that gave never received back. It's due. And we are aware. Personally, I'm aware. If I'm a part of the, I'm not saying that my view will prevail, but I trust it will be an input. Corporate social responsibility. The community that gives, what does it get out of what it gives?
Thank you.
Much as it is national.
But that should not be for oil alone. It should be for all.
Federalism. We'll talk about that.
Thank you. That's what we want.
I must thank our guest, Honorable Bettie Kamya, President of the Uganda Federal Alliance, strong with her views on federalism. She doesn't agree with the constitution because she prefers a federalist constitution on that side. Henry Ford Mirima, Spokesman, Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom, and Honorable Ephraim Biraro, Member of Parliament for Buhweju County and belonging to the NRM movement, NRM party. Thank you for tuning in. I've been your host, Edmond. Kizito. Spectrum will be back tomorrow. Up next, there's a news in English. Do stay tuned.